Certainly. Here's a comprehensive overview of Dwight D. Eisenhower's life and career. From his early years through his presidency and legacy, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Complete life story and career, certainly. Here's a detailed look at Dwight D. Eisenhower's early life. Early life of Dwight D. Eisenhower, 1890 to 1911, birth and family background. Full name, Dwight David Eisenhower, born October 14, 1890, place, Gunnison, Texas, USA. Parents, David Jacob Eisenhower, a railroad mechanic, and Ida Elizabeth Stover Eisenhower, a devout pacifist and deeply religious woman, ethnic background of German and Swiss descent. His ancestors had emigrated from Germany to Pennsylvania in the 1700s, moved to Kansas when Dwight was just 18 months old in 1892. The Eisenhower family moved to Abilene, Kansas, where he spent most of his childhood. The family was financially modest, and he grew up with a strong work ethic and sense of duty. He was one of 7 brothers, and the household was known for its discipline, faith, and frugality. Personality and values. Eisenhower was nicknamed Ike, a name used by all his brothers as well. He had a love of history, especially military history, and was particularly fascinated by leaders like George Washington and Robert E. Lee. Despite his mother's pacifism and opposition to war, Eisenhower became interested in a military career. Education and early interests. Attended Abilene High School, graduating in 1909. He worked hard to help support the family, taking various jobs such as working at a local creamery selling produce, helping in the family garden. He delayed college for a year to help pay for his older brother Edgar's college tuition, showing a deep sense of family loyalty and sacrifice. Path to West Point in 1911. Eisenhower received an appointment to the United States Military Academy at West Point, New York, through Kansas Senator Joseph L. Bristow. Although not originally committed to a military career, he saw West Point as a free education and a stepping stone to a better future. He entered West Point in June 1911. At the age of 20, here's a detailed account of Dwight D. Eisenhower's education and early military career. 1911 to 1939. Education and early military career. 1911 to 1939. Education at West Point, 1911 to 1915. In 1911, Eisenhower was accepted into the United States Military Academy at West Point, New York. He was 20 years old, older than most cadets. Due to his year of work before applying, while not at the top of his class academically, he was known for strong leadership skills, athletic ability, especially football, though he was sidelined by a knee injury, discipline, and tactical thinking. Graduated in 1915, 61st out of 164 cadets in what came to be known as the class the stars fell on, because so many members later became generals. Early Army assignments. 1915 to 1917, commissioned as a second lieutenant in the infantry. Initial postings included Fort Sam Houston, Texas Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia Camp Colt, Pennsylvania, trained tank crews, World War I. Although eager to fight overseas, Eisenhower was not sent to Europe. Instead, he was put in charge of training tank units at Camp Colt near Gettysburg, earned the Distinguished Service Medal for his work. Professional military education. 1920s-1930s, Eisenhower steadily rose through the ranks, aided by his intellect and mentors. 1920, promoted to major. He would hold this rank for 16 years due to slow interwar promotions. 1922 to 1924, assigned to the Panama Canal Zone under General Fox Cunner, a key mentor who introduced him to strategic thinking and urged him to pursue further military education. 1925 to 1926, attended the Command and General Staff School at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. Graduated first in his class of 245 officers, 1,928, 1,929. Attended the Army War College, Washington, D.C. Continued to distinguish himself as a brilliant planner and strategist. International and high-profile assignments. 19,301,930s. Eisenhower served in increasingly important staff roles, worked under General Douglas MacArthur in Washington, D.C., and later in the Philippines. 1935-1939. In the Philippines, He helped organize the Philippine Army and advised President Manuel Quezon, developed strong organizational skills, diplomatic tact, and insight into coalition work. Reputation by 1939, by the late 1930s, Eisenhower was known in military circles as a brilliant staff officer, a gifted organizer and planner, loyal, efficient, and modest. Though still a relatively unknown officer to the public, his experience in training, strategy, and working with top generals prepared him for the massive responsibilities ahead during World War I. Here's a detailed look at Dwight D. Eisenhower's time at the United States Military Academy at West Point. Dwight D. Eisenhower at West Point, 1911 to 1915. Admission to West Point entered June 1911. Age: 20 years old, older than many cadets due to time spent working to support his family. Appointment: received a congressional nomination from Kansas. Senator Joseph L. Bristow. Reason for applying: he saw West Point as a chance for a free college education and a secure future, not initially out of a deep desire for a military career. Academic and military training at West Point. Eisenhower received a well-rounded education including engineering, mathematics, military tactics and strategy, history, leadership, and discipline. He wasn't a top academic student, but he performed respectably, graduating 61st in a class of 164, athletics and extracurricular. Life: Eisenhower was an outstanding athlete, played varsity football as a running back and linebacker, injured his knee, which ended his football career and affected him for the rest of his life. Also participated in fencing, gymnastics, boxing, organized and refereed sports for younger cadets. He enjoyed teamwork, camaraderie, and leadership roles, which would later influence his military and political leadership style, character, and leadership. Known as Ike to his classmates, seen as honest, dependable, and mature, built a reputation as a natural leader. Even if he wasn't the highest-ranking cadet, had a strong sense of duty, with an easygoing manner that won the respect of peers. Graduation and commission: graduated June 12, 1915, commissioned second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Infantry. His class became famously known as the class the stars fell on because 59 members eventually became generals. Impact of West Point on Eisenhower: West Point instilled in Eisenhower self-discipline and organization, lifelong commitment to duty, honor, and country, the ability to balance authority with humility. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. During World War I, Eisenhower was assigned stateside training tank crews, which frustrated him as he wanted to serve overseas. Between the wars, served under General John J. Pershing, General Douglas MacArthur, and General Fox Connor. Worked in the Panama Canal Zone, the Philippines, and various U.S. posts. Gained a reputation as a smart, capable planner and strategist. Attended the Army War College and other elite military institutions. Here is a full account of Dwight D. Eisenhower's role in World War II and his rise to Supreme Commander. 1939-1945, a strong foundation in military strategy and leadership. At the outbreak of World War II in 1939, Eisenhower was a relatively unknown lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army. Though he had never seen combat, his talent for organization, planning, and diplomacy caught the attention of senior military leaders. Served under General George C. Marshall, the U.S. Army Chief of Staff, who quickly recognized Eisenhower's strategic brilliance. Worked in the War Plans Division in Washington, D.C., where he helped formulate responses to global conflict scenarios. Rapid rise through the ranks 1941 to 1942. Promoted rapidly to brigadier general and later major general, despite having no battlefield command experience. Eisenhower's skill in coordinating large military operations, especially with multiple allied nations involved, made him indispensable. Operation Torch 1942. November 1942. Eisenhower was appointed commander of Allied forces in North Africa. LED Operation Torch. The first major American offensive of World War II. Goal: drive Axis forces, Germans and Italians, out of North Africa. Success: helped the Allies gain control of Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. Collaborated with British commanders. Including General Bernard Montgomery, Eisenhower's diplomacy was tested by managing tensions between Free French forces, British allies, and American officers. His steady leadership earned President Roosevelt and Churchill deep confidence. Italian Campaign 1943. After victory in North Africa, Eisenhower led the invasion of Sicily, Operation Husky, in July 1943, and then the mainland invasion of Italy. This campaign toppled Mussolini's fascist regime, opened up a southern front against the Nazis. Italy eventually surrendered in September 1943, but German troops resisted fiercely, prolonging the Italian campaign. Appointed Supreme Commander of Allied Expeditionary Force 1943, December 1943. Eisenhower was named Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force, SHAEF. This was the top Allied command post in Europe, making him responsible for planning and directing the invasion of Nazi-occupied Western Europe. Day and the Normandy invasion. June 6, 1944, Eisenhower led Operation Overlord, the largest amphibious invasion in history. Date: June 6, 1944. Location: Normandy, France. Involved over 156,000 Allied troops from the U.S., UK, Canada, and other nations. Key aspects: faced massive German defenses, Atlantic Wall, despite bad weather. Eisenhower made the critical decision to launch the invasion. His calm, steady leadership and carefully coordinated plan helped establish a vital beachhead in Europe. D-Day was a turning point, and the war led to the liberation of France and began Germany's retreat.